All right, it is time for Mic'd Up. This is where we highlight cool people doing cool things in the DMV. Today, our Adam Longo sits down with a familiar face and decision maker in our area.
So for our segments, we introduce you to a lot of activists, entrepreneurs, and authors. Somebody who you haven't heard from yet in our segments is a politician. This is Will Jawando. He's a council member here in Montgomery County, and he's also an author. Just wrote this book, My 7 Black Fathers. So, Councilman, tell us about the book. What was the driving force behind you writing it?
Well, you know, it was something I needed to write, Adam. It's a deeply personal story about my life and the men who stepped in at critical points in the absence of my dad to help me be the man I am and literally save my life. It's an affirmative story at a very difficult time in our nation's history that it was, you know, tough to write, but I think important.
Yeah, I want to talk more about the book and about the mentoring aspect of it. Can we hop inside and chat some more?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
The fourth of our, we have 3 girls and a boy.
You want to go in my office?
Okay. Whose book is this?
Daddy's.
It's Daddy's book. Have you read all of Daddy's book?
You did?
Very nice. The first thing I wanted to ask you about is, you know, the cover of the book and the insert, you know, it describes you. Civil rights lawyer, activist, former presidential advisor, father, husband. But I'm interested in knowing how you describe yourself.
Dad and husband is certainly my favorite titles. So, you know, we both can relate to that. But at the end of the day, I'm a Montgomery County kid who's trying to help other people.
As I read through the book, it's a how-to guide. It's a roadmap. You yourself call it a call to action. A call to action for what?
A call to action to be open to receive these relationships. It's a two-way street. And then to engage and enable more of these relationships. The call to action is we need more of these people. Policy, practice, and personal. If you're someone who hasn't mentored, don't be scared by the word. It doesn't have to be formal. You know, you can do it when you have time. You can do it in an interaction. If you see someone on the street and you give them a kind word, that is a form of encouragement and mentorship. You know, the one that makes recommendations about what we should change in which is our charter is like the Constitution.
We're here in Bethesda now at a campaign event involving Councilmember Jawando. He is signing some copies of his book, and in just a second, they're all going to sit down and talk some local politics.
Right, if you didn't know that 1 in 10 of our residents were hungry prior to COVID, you know now.
President Obama played a pivotal role in mentoring you and being a part of your life.
When I'm working for him between the Senate and the White House, I get married to Michelle, we're 16 years now, and we have 2 of our 4 children while I'm working for him in the White House. And he's really helpful helping me navigate my role as husband and father in the context of someone who really didn't have their biological father to draw on. And that was something that both by example and then later by, you know, actual personal connection and conversations we would have later in our relationship, that he was really helpful for me.
Yeah, while at the same time running the country, which
exactly.
is, you know.
So he exemplified this idea of, like, you know, we didn't have like you know, 8-hour formal mentoring sessions, but he took the time within the context of our working relationship to do that, and it's a perfect example of how all these relationships look different.
Wow, that was fascinating. A couple big things that stuck with me, him talking about mentorship and not to be afraid of the word. It doesn't have to be something formal. And when you think about that, we all kind of have these informal mentor-mentee relationships.
Right.
We just don't necessarily think of them that way. So when you step into something a little bit more robust, you don't necessarily give yourself credit for the mentoring that you've already done.
Right, and that's the roadmap that he kind of lays out here. So in the book, I'm left thinking 3 different things. First, about the people who mentored me. Second, about the people who I can mentor. And then third, the people who can, you know, sort of learn from me and take it from that approach. One of the things that stood out to me about the book is you'd look at it, right? And you see a black man on the cover of the book. You see the book title, it says, My 7 Black Fathers. You might be inclined to think this is a black book. Right? This is a book for black folks. It's not, because that mentorship is just so applicable across race, right? We think about, you know, just the workplaces that we're in, the producers that you and I work with, whether it's on the radio or television. It's like we're teaching them and they're teaching us. We're all sort of learning for each other. So being able to seek out those mentorships is key. And it's also key to be able to lay the foundation in the environment for your kids to be accepting of these types of mentoring relationships.
I also love how he talked about being a father and filling that void without necessarily having a specific archetype because of your relationship with your father, which was something that I heard about often on the radio. A lot of people find themselves in that situation.
Right, and one other thing that he talks about is destination kids versus decision kids, right? He says the critical hours for kids between 3 and 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Are you a decision kid? Do you have to make the decision as to what you're going to be doing? Or is it already laid out for you? And that's a big problem where, you know, the kids who have to make those own decisions end up in trouble. The kids that have a place to go to don't. Listen, we got this story through Leslie Foster actually told us, hey, did you know that Will Jawando wrote a book? I was like, hey, that's great. Let's go talk to the guy. So listen, if you got a cool story, cool people doing cool things in your community, I want to hear about it. Reach out to me, alongo at wsa9.com, or find me there on social media.
Full disclosure, the bottom of the book is black. So that part is a black book when it's upside down.